Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to start Unit 5. Now, Unit 5, we're going to split the second and third grade into two different groups, okay? But we start all at the same spot. And then the third graders are going to move on and learn some more stuff about Unit 5, which is the staff. While the second graders, you just have to know what's on the board today, okay? All right, so let's go over this. This is what a music staff looks like, okay? If you take a look, we have lines, and in between the lines we have spaces. All right, and so and then on top of that we usually have a sign right here, and there's a couple of different signs that can go there, but we only need to know one of them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and talk about all these different parts that make up the staff. All right, so the first thing that we want to talk about is the 5 lines and the 4 space. It's actually right here. It's the second thing, but it's the first thing we talk about. In order to have a staff, you must have 5 lines, and in between those lines, there are going to be 4 spaces, okay? So when you see 5 lines, that's called a staff. What is it called when you have 5 lines? That's right, it's called a staff, all right? Now, the next thing we want to talk about is what's a line? Well, it's just a line. It's the same thing as a line you have in art, the same things you have a line in your classes when they say write on the line. It's just a line, okay? Now, the space is the area in between 2 lines, okay? We've got a line here and a line there, and that's a space. So if something is put right on top of the line, it's a line. But if it is not on the line, if it's in between the line, it is called a space, all right? Then the last thing that we need in order to make a staff make sense is a clef. A clef is the name for these squiggly things. And there's a bunch of them, all right? But we only need to learn one of them, and that one has 2 names. You could call it the treble clef. Treble means high, like if you have a car stereo, sometimes you can adjust the treble or adjust the bass. The bass makes it thumpier, the treble makes it easier to understand, okay? It's got more highs to it, and we use the highs to understand what's going on. Anyways, so treble means the high clef, or we can call it a G clef, because you see, it makes the little G right there on the second line, and the second line on the treble clef is actually the letter G. So, let's go over this real quick, going from left to right. The first thing we run into is a treble or a G clef. Good job. Then the second thing we have is 5 lines with 4 spaces, and that is called a staff. Right. And then if we talk about one of these long things that stretch from one to the other, that is called a line. Very good. And the area in between the 2 lines is called a space. That's all you need to know for this week. The treble clef, that 5 lines of space is called a staff. Know what a line looks like and know what a space looks like. Good job.